some very big mistakes. I asked for his resignation.
I'm disappointed in the Attorney General.
Donald Trump is throwing yet another member of his administration under the bus, which means this is another episode of As the White House Turns. The drama is real. This time, he is referring to Never Trumpers as human scum, and he's specifically attacking individuals like Bill Taylor, who isn't a Never Trumper because he works in the Trump administration. In fact,
got him by definition.
Mike Pompeo is the individual who chose him for the role that he's in. And so Donald Trump also went after members of his administration who keep giving the so-called human scum these positions. And that's, again, Mike Pompeo. So I want to give you the tweet that he put out there. It would be really great if the people within the Trump administration, all well-meaning and good, I hope, could stop hiring Never Trumpers who are worse than the do-nothing Democrats. Nothing good will ever come from them.
So let's note a couple of things here. The hilarious, over-the-top incompetence. He's like, I just wish somebody in my administration would know how to manage things. Big guy, that's supposed to be you.
I know.
Imagine if a CEO, and sometimes when they get caught doing something wrong, they do this. Of a big company comes out and goes like, I wish somebody would manage this company. Kind of your job. Right?
I mean, we got a little bit of that from Mark Zuckerberg when AOC was grilling him and asked about how Facebook now has a right-wing propaganda site like the Daily Caller doing fact-checking for them. And he's like, no, it wasn't us. It's just the third party that we contracted with that makes these decisions. They're independent. No, you got to take responsibility, okay? You're the CEO of Facebook. You are the leader. You should know. And there have been multiple reports about the Daily Caller and how it's egregious to have them do any fact checking when they put out all sorts of propaganda. But nonetheless, let me.
All right, the second thing I wanted to say is doubling down what Anna said. How can you be a Never Trumper if you're in the Trump administration? By definition, they're not Never Trumpers. The Never Trumpers can't stand Trump and would never work for him. Hence the word never.
Actually, it's even, by the way, it's even worse than that. So again, Pompeo chose him for the role after they got rid of US Ambassador to Ukraine, Marie Yanukovych.
Right, they got rid of her because she wasn't sufficiently loyal to Trump. She thought that we should hold the Russians accountable. Of course, Trump hates that, so he wanted to get rid of her. And he's like, oh, she's not loyal enough to Russia. I mean me, right? And so they got rid of her and they put her in this guy who they thought would be sufficiently loyal. But he came out and he was like, I kind of am loyal to the Constitution and the laws and you kind of broke them. Right, even though he meant to serve Trump, he didn't have any problem with the Trump administration as he went and was the acting ambassador to Ukraine. He didn't even mind replacing look, he liked the woman who he was replacing, to be fair to him, but he didn't mind replacing her. But when they broke the law, he's like, well, I'm not gonna take part in that.
And I butchered her name, it's Yovanovitch, my bad. Now let's go to some other tweets that he put out there. The Never Trumper Republicans, though on respirators with not many left, are in certain ways worse and more dangerous for our country than the do-nothing Democrats. Watch out for them, they're human scum. So that's where he referred to them as human scum. So understand, like this is exactly what Republican lawmakers are afraid of, right? They are so scared that Donald Trump is going to cite them in a tweet by name and that it will backfire on them when their voters retaliate at the polls. That's what this is all about. This is a way of intimidating people and preventing them from speaking out, from enforcing the rule of law, from ensuring that the president follows the Constitution and doesn't violate it. I mean, this is what he does. This is what mobsters do. His language is that of a mobster and his actions are that of a mobster.
Yeah, and it's particularly because of the top rhetoric. But I'll tell you something, there's no balance in this country and both parties are in an extreme. So Donald Trump goes to this insane extreme where he's calling fellow Republicans human scum. I mean, unbelievable, unheard of. On the other hand, you have the Democrats who say never ever criticize another Democrat. It doesn't matter how much you disagree with them.
Unless it's a progressive.
Well, that's true. Never ever criticize a conservative Democrat, a moderate Democrat, a centrist Democrat, AOC and all the squad and the Just Democrats. You could do anything you want to them, but there's just 4 people, as Nancy Pelosi said. But seriously though, Obama never leaned on any of the Democrats to get any votes, right? Never leaned on them. So in politics, you're supposed to do hardball and softball. Donald Trump takes hardball and smashes a bat over somebody's head, like Robert De Niro, playing a mobster, right? And on the other hand, you've got guys like Obama who have like put on like little white gloves, and they're like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" No, if you wanted the public option, for example, last time around when you did the Affordable Care Act, you had to actually play a little bit of hardball, like Lyndon Johnson did to get the Civil Rights Act passed. But there's no balance at all. We have an insanely out of control Republican Party, and we have the meekest, most ridiculously mild Democratic Party that barely fights back.
And Donald Trump, of course, has surrounded himself with people who will defend him no matter what. He's insulated himself from any criticism. So every once in a while, when criticism does get to him, he loses his mind and goes on a Twitter rampage. Now, one of the yes men or yes women is Press Secretary Grisham, and here she is talking about the human scum comment.
The president yesterday called the never Trumpers scum. Does he regret that?
No, he shouldn't. The people who are against him and who have been against him and working against him since the day they took office are just that. It is horrible that people are working against a president who's delivering results for this country and has been since day one. And the fact that people continue to try to negate anything that he's doing and take away from the good work he's doing on behalf of the American people, they deserve strong language like that.
What good work? Like, what good work is he doing for the American people? What has he actually done for the American people? What has he done in the White House other than enrich himself? Really?
He's literally only passed one thing. I shouldn't say
Tax
literally.
cuts,
there was like, they've named post offices. There's been a couple other totally ineffectual or irrelevant legislation. But the major piece of legislation is the tax cuts for the rich. Who's rich? Oh, Donald Trump, kind of. So that was littered with tax cuts for himself. In fact, there were special carve outs for real estate, for pass-through income, all the things that Donald Trump does himself. He's also, of course, encouraged government officials, our government officials, foreign government officials to stay at his properties. He's gotten trademarks for his daughter. So Anna's quite literally correct that the only thing he's ever done is stuff for himself while he's been in office. But they're like, oh, if you disagree, if you are disloyal to the president in even one statement, and you are a Republican, well then, of course you're human scum, and we'll come for you because this is all in service of our dear leader, Donald Trump. And then these guys, the Republicans, pretend to be constitutionalists. That cracks me up every time. They're like, we really care about the United States Constitution. No, the United States Constitution clearly says that the president should not be enriching himself with the office, that he's supposed to serve the people of this country. It's supposed to be a democracy. These guys, I don't know, Stephanie, if she had a brown shirt on or not, it looked kind of brown. But that's exactly what the fascists do. They come on and go, there is one leader who can never be criticized, and his word is gospel, and if anybody criticizes it, we will call them ungodly things, unhuman things, and then burst into rooms, break up political events we don't agree with, and intimidate everyone in our path, and try to break enough laws until there is no rule of law. That's who these Trump-supporting Republicans are, which is, by the way, almost the entire Republican Party. Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.